Welcome to Talking Comics, where we are bagged, boarded, and pre-recorded. I'm Ryan.
I'm Sean.
Thank you guys for tuning in once again. We got a lot to talk about today. A couple of new comics, a little bit older comics, some movies, and just a lot of stuff. Little preface, I guess. This is sort of somewhat a season finale type podcast for us. We're going to take the next month off to, relax, to not like a little relaxation, a little, free time to get more material together for future podcasts.
Let stuff happen.
Yeah. By the time we get back, it'll be about time for all the CW shows to air that we just, we love talking about.
It's a summer break, folks.
Yeah. It'll give me a lot more time to read more comics, buy more comics, and I got some new recording equipment on the way so hopefully you won't hear us bumping up against our table and stuff in the future.
Well, maybe that, but it ain't gonna make me sound better.
Nor me. Although I do sort of have a radio voice, like the way I talk to people outside of the podcast, I sound different.
I was going to say, you do have a face for radio. Want some aloe for that sick burn?
I've already used so much. I got sunburnt the other day.
Oh my God, I know. Don't look like a burn victim like me.
Yeah, and hopefully when we come back from our little break, it'll be a little bit cooler out.
Yeah.
Because we don't have AC in the room we record in.
No.
So we just have a fan going, and it helps, but we definitely need to drop down another 10 degrees for comfortable recording.
When it gets hot, I have no motivation whatsoever. Not that I had many to begin with.
So I'm going to start out our comic talk with a new Rebirth comic. Nightwing Rebirth. I know at least 2 of our listeners are big Nightwing fans, and I thought they'd like to hear about it a little bit. I mean, I'm sure your son, who's a huge Nightwing fan, he's the one of the ones.
You guys are ahead of me. I just sit there. Yeah. I see him sit there, go right by me in the store. Never get a chance to actually read him. So when I say spoilers, I'm talking to myself this time.
I'm gonna start off by saying I only have the standard issue. I didn't get the variant or nothing, but I really liked the cover art on it. Very simple design. He is in his old costume again, and the rain coming down on him. It just is really kind of an iconic Nightwing look for him. Starting off on the very first page. The first couple of, speech bubbles are him talking about the origin of his name, Nightwing.
Ah, that I know.
Yes.
All right.
The name Nightwing, he says along the lines, a lot of people assume that it was kind of me taking up a name similar to Batman, the Dark Knight. But I actually got the name from Superman. He told me the story of heroes from his planet, Nightwing and Flamebird, and Nightwing the Great Rebuilder, the catalyst of change. I like that. I had to write that down.
But at the same time, it does flow nicely with the Batman
Gotham really does.
Theme. Yeah. And he really needed it.
At this point, he is, for those of you who have followed the Grayson stories, I need to finish them all the way through, but I've read a couple of them. Really good story. He under Batman's orders, I guess, he infiltrated this spy organization called Spiral that had been trying to figure out the secret identities of superheroes. And some other shady stuff on the side.
Mm-hmm.
But he's out of there now. Apparently they took down the main bad guy and whatnot. So he's out, and he's trying to... He's finally reclaimed his secret identity. He's able to be Dick Grayson again, without, having to be just Agent 37 that he was. Like, yeah, he was Dick, but he...
37?
Yeah.
Dick? In a row?
I never thought of that before.
I'm like Pavlov's dog when I hear that. Just tell it, 37?
In a row?
And you said Dick. Anyway, I'm
sorry. So, he says, like, when his secret identity, his name was taken, Nightwing. He was outed his secret identity. He's like, they took everything from me except for my name, his actual name that he was born with. And it cuts to him and Damian in an arcade. And he's, giving a little backstory on himself. My parents used to take me here every time we came to Gotham, and it was for training really hard, or I caught the trapeze bar with my face.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff like.
So let me ask you. You've read it. I haven't.
Yeah.
At this point, you're what was the vibe like? So he's Damian Wayne, right?
Yeah.
Where in age is Dick Grayson at this point? What do you think?
I would say...
I would have to say, like, when Batman first started? Like, he's
Batman
age,
right? Late 20s, probably. Mid to late 20s.
Oh, really? Okay.
Well, although, I don't know, because now that I think about it, it seems like I haven't read any of the, like, Titans or anything, so I don't know what's going on with... Red Robin right now, but it looks like they brought him back a few years, because before he was like 15, 16, and now apparently he's like 13, 14.
Okay.
So you're probably right. He's probably in his younger 20s.
Because to me, the original connotation of Nightwing, not Robin, it's Dick Grayson, but now he's Nightwing.
Yeah.
Kind of gave me the idea that, kind of like Dark Knight Returns.
Yeah.
Like he's a grizzled, like you have the grizzled old Batman. Now you have the kind of I've been there, done that type of Robin.
Well, from what I understand of, reading various comics throughout the years of Batman and Robin and their adventures, he brought Dick in at age 10.
Oh, yeah.
8 to 10 is the general, age that he's been brought in different comics.
Mm-hmm.
And he was the sidekick for like 5 years as Robin.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and
I remember the original.
It kind of blows my mind in a way, because sidekicks for 50 plus years or whatever of Batman and Robin together.
Well, I mean, you got to remember the first initial run. That's Kane and Finger originally, and Siegel, or not Siegel. I'm sorry. Siegel, Jerry Siegel. Bringing them in just so like younger audiences could have a character to identify with, and that was a hit, obviously, because it went forever.
Yeah. So I'd assume that he'd be in his like early 20s.
Okay.
I'm, linking the stories together properly in my head. And he's him talking with Damian and whatnot. They're talking about stuff that I can only assume has partly to do with, parts of the story I have not read.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, the Court of Owls isn't called the Court of Owls anymore. It's called the Parliament of Owls, which is slightly more accurate, because a group of owls is actually called a parliament.
There actually is you haven't read? You don't know that?
No,
there's actually a reason for that. I do know.
And apparently, the Parliament has been trying to recruit Nightwing. They're trying to steal the name Nightwing, and Dick Grayson himself, to train their new soldiers. And so they, they're talking and whatnot. They go back to the mansion, and it does like a little flashback cutscene of Dick getting out of Spiral, saying goodbye to all his people he worked with, and he gets this weird mechanism machine thing from the Midnighter, who's a anti-hero, I guess, kinda character.
I'm not familiar.
Yeah.
The Midnighter?
Yeah. They call each other frenemies.
Okay. Like him already.
He gets this device, and this device is to pull a bomb out of Damian's brain that only Dick, Batman, and the Parliament knew were there.
What the fuck?
Yeah. And if removed, the bomb will explode.
Did Amanda Waller get a hold of Damian? What's going on?
Apparently the way it works is it, once removed, like brought out into oxygen, like some chemical I can't remember the name of, it'll explode and kill him or whatever. So this device pulls out some of Damian's DNA with it and makes it so the Parliament will still think the bomb is in his head.
Oh, okay.
And so he pulls it out, and Batman's like, what's going on here? I successfully removed the bomb. You did. Damian, you knew about this? Because Damian had no idea that there was a bomb in his head.
Hey, Dad.
And then there's a talk between just Batman and Dick, and God, what are you, 12?
When you lead off with 37. All right. Anyway, I'm sorry.
There's a talk between them, and he's like, you've got your secret identity back. What are you gonna do now? Or you just got back from a long deep cover mission. You can take a break. He said, no, I need to get back out there, and I need to stop the Parliament. And I can't do it as... I don't want to do it as Dick Grayson or Robin or Agent 37. Those aren't the names they tried to take from me. They tried to take the name Nightwing. So he suits up in his original black and blue suit. Oh. And, is ready to go to war.
Yeah.
Which I thought was really cool. I mean, I liked the look of the New 52 red and black one, but I always preferred the original.
Right.
Well, not the original, but the modern original color scheme.
The red, the New 52 one looked too Batman Beyondish to me.
Well, the reason that he wore the red, apparently, in the New 52 is because even though he's, Gotham, works a lot in Gotham, his main base of activity was in Bloodhaven.
Right, okay.
So he went with the Bloodhaven red. Mm-hmm. That's about all I got on this. It's only a single issue.
Do you know...
if you're a Nightwing fan, I definitely recommend picking it up. If you can find it.
Yeah, definitely. Do you know, off the top of your head, who's doing the Nightwing Rebirth?
Off the top of my head, I don't know. I probably should have wrote that down.
Oh, no, that's cool. I just, how I am with names, so. I was just wondering if it was, does the name Tom King ring a bell?
Sort of does.
Because I got a little something here for you. It's called Sheriff of Babylon.
Sheriff of Babylon. I'm not familiar with that.
It is a 8-issue miniseries pulled from Tom King and his real-life experiences as a CIA operations officer in Baghdad from 2003.
Wow.
That's the dude who did the Grayson series.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Who wrote all the stories.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I was wondering if
Interesting career change.
Right? Yeah. He told stories through comics, man. I mean, real-life stuff. Real-life superhero.
I guess that explains, why they got him to do the Secret Agent Dick Grayson
series.
Yeah.
Oh, totally. Yeah, they kind of like... Because remember when I was first shown, I'm like, oh, what's this? Grayson.
Yeah.
What are they, turning him into Jason Bourne? Well, no, turn him into Tom King. Yeah. But check this out. Sheriff of Babylon the story synopsis is, it's a Florida police officer turned military contractor. Mm-hmm. The character's name is Chris Henry, and he's assigned with training a new Iraqi police force.
Huh.
Okay. When one of the trainees ends up mysteriously dead, Chris is forced to team with a character named Nasir, or Nassar. I want to say Nasir. And he's the last remaining cop in Baghdad.
Wow.
Because, a cop's lifespan over there in the Middle East,
Yeah.
Nobody cares. There's also another character who's kind of pulling the strings in the shadows in the background.
Mastery.
Yeah. Her name is Sophia. And that character, without spoiling too much, she's American educated. She's an Iraqi who has returned to her homeland to take control of the city's criminal underground. This book is a little more of a thriller than an action punch face and neck type stuff. And it pretty much, look at today's times. It's it takes place during the most horrific times in today's history.
Yeah.
Type stuff. So yeah, man, that Tom King, Jesus, Agent 37, Grayson. I'm gonna go on a limb and probably just take a stab in the dark and say that he's
had some hand in that.
The Nightwing. Yeah, but yeah, Sheriff of Babylon. Definitely check it out. I think it's an 8-issue. Issue 7, so probably issue 8 would be the last one. They're finishing up, and then of course they'll launch the trade paperback for the whole thing. So yeah,
I might wait for that to come out and pick that up.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I have a couple more comics to talk about. Since I started out with the DC, I'm gonna jump over to the other side of the street and talk about a Marvel character.
Do it.
I did not know about this character until very recently when I was watching one of the other comic book YouTuber guys I watch talk about it, and so I thought I'd check it out, and I'm just going to kind of cover like volume 1 chapter or issue 1 chapter 1 type thing of this is Silk.
Okay.
Volume 0.
I've heard that's SpiderMan universe.
Yes, she's main 616.
See, I've heard of her. I have no idea anything about Silk. So,
Volume 0, The Life and Times of Cindy Moon.
Okay.
Little factoid here. She was bitten by the exact same spider as Peter Parker.
Okay. Was she on the same field trip?
I guess. And she got powers from it. Obviously, why would we? Yeah, there's a whole comic about a girl who got bit by a radioactive spider and her battle with cancer. Actually, that'd be a pretty good book. Why am I not writing this down? No.
I know, right?
No, she got powers, wall crawling, spider sense. Instead of like Peter, she actually has web capabilities. She weaves webs from her fingertips. And that's how she makes her. She made her first costume out of those webbings.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds badass.
She was locked in she was convinced by this guy to lock herself in a bunker because apparently there was a secret society of spider people hunters. They would hunt down people with spider powers.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that I do know. Okay.
And so she was locked in this bunker for 10 years.
Okay.
And so she's just been in this bunker. Like, she got locked up in like the 90s. And she's been there by herself, nothing but like the recordings of the guy who convinced her to lock up in there, and like.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. Who locked her up? Or
I can't remember the guy's name, but apparently he died while she was locked away.
And let me guess, he was the only one that knew she was there.
Yeah, and he had like.
Whoops.
Infinitely wealthy guy who. Excuse me, owned the building that she was locked up in and had the money go through shell corporations to keep it nameless.
Right, yeah.
And very shady, very, very shady stuff. And one day, Peter Parker, SpiderMan, stumbles upon it and unknowingly lets her out. Like, he opens it up and there's a person in here.
Okay.
And he lets her out. And, she decides that she needs to look for her family. Let them know she's alive and all right, but she can't find them. You know, typical story. I lost my family. I need to find them.
This is like a David Berkowitz victim.
So she decides to get a job at the Daily Bugle.
Okay.
You know,
small world.
Yeah. You know, just a main line into the information world. Jameson calls her analog because she's the only one there who writes with pen and paper.
Yeah, I was going to say, they've got the Daily Bugle's got, you know, their updated to today's times and everything, and she's been out of it. Oh, I like that.
Yeah, he calls I like you, analog.
Yeah.
And she's been by herself, so she's kind of socially awkward, and she kind of cuts through the BS a little bit.
Obviously.
Like, one of her coworkers was like, "Hey, I'm going to a movie. You and so-and-so want to go? Why don't you just ask so-and-so out? I know you're into them." What? You are? Awkward.
I call it
unintentionally.
Not knowing how to master the social niceties. Like, you know, when anybody listening or anybody else is like, you know, you're in a public place, or you walk into somebody's like, "Hey, how's it going?" You're like, "Oh, I'm good. How are you?" That's it. Imagine, like, I can picture her going, like, "Oh, hey, how's it going?" Day. And she tells you in detail.
It's been a rough day.
Yeah. For the next hour.
And she, you know, she decides she also wants to. She's got great power, and with comes great responsibility. Yada yada yada. She wants to fight crime. She comes against this bad guy who's calls himself Dragon Claw, and her response is, it sounds like a Pokemon, because she's been in, you know, since the 90s when Pokemon first became really popular.
Okay.
And so she calls him Pokemon Guy.
Pokemon Guy. That's awesome.
And she is, during the battle with him, she falls and, you know, webs and hangs there because she's, like, it's showing that her spider sense is kind of weird right now and not working. It's been like that ever since the Spider-Verse incident.
Not in tune.
Yeah, it's right? Like she's having trouble dealing with the hustle and bustle of New York, apparently. Like, it's all... She can't handle her power. She's been in a...
She's been in a room for a decade, right?
Like, soundproof room.
Yeah, okay.
Quiet. The only thing she ever listened to was the recordings over and over and over of the guy who put her in there.
Okay.
She comes home, and like, she's also explaining that, like, her and Peter have, like, a weird thing. They don't really know what they are, but, like, it's very confusing. I haven't read too much far into it. I'm covering the first issue of the trade paperback thus far.
Like, are they, like, crossing senses, maybe? She just hasn't got a handle on it?
I don't know, like, what Peter Parker current relationship status is in this.
Oh, okay.
I think they actually have, like, a thing. Like,
oh, really?
Like they're into each other, but they're not doing anything about it.
Like I said, I don't know anything about Silk, so I don't know where she falls in the Spider-Man timeline.
Yeah, me either.
Okay.
But apparently post Spider-Verse incident, so...
Okay.
Recent. Since she can't... She gets home after, you know, beating up the bad guy and whatnot. And she hears her roommate and the chick that her roommate... They're doing it in her room, and she can hear it all because of her senses, her heightened senses, and she's like, she writes a little note, "I need to find a new place," and leaves. And
she's rooming with a lesbian?
Yeah.
Ooh, okay. All right.
And so she leaves, she calls up Peter, and they're talking, and he's like, "You want to come over?" "Yes." "No." And then she hangs up. And she goes back to the bunker where she just spent the past 10 years in, and she finally escaped from. She goes back there because it's the only place she knows, and it is quiet.
Yeah.
And she's still trying to, you know, she's doing like that detective NCIS thing with the, you know, pictures and string leading from picture to picture, trying to figure out where her family went. Mm-hmm. And there's a flashback scene thrown in there. I'm not going to go too much into that. Typical, like in the movie, oh no, my parent died. My last words to them were words out of anger.
In a montage.
Yeah, kind of thing. And it shows her doing research, and then the next page is her being viewed on computer monitors.
By?
And I've turned the page, and and the cover of the next issue, because in trade paperbacks they show you the cover.
Yeah.
Is her hanging from a big Hydra symbol.
Oh!
And that's where I'm going to leave that.
Dun dun dun.
Partly because I haven't read any farther.
That's awesome.
And so that you guys who are interested in this can go out and pick it up.
So that dude that originally had her...
I don't know if he was Hydra. I don't know if he was really a good guy or not, but...
Oh, wow.
He's dead, and I'm pretty sure she's being watched by Hydra.
Wow, that's an awesome cliffhanger, a mystery.
Mm-hmm. Had I, started this from, when they first started releasing these, I would have been pissed that I had to wait another month for another issue.
That's why trade paperback's the way to go, man.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Trade paperback's like the original binge watch.
Right?
The original Netflix.
What else do you got for me?
Oh, well, I mean, with that little cliffhanger, that mystery, I got a couple cops I want to talk about.
Alrighty.
Sam and Twitch.
Sam and Twitch.
Sam and Twitch.
I'm not familiar.
Sam and Twitch are... let me ask you something. The title of the book is called The Writer, or I should say the series is called The Writer.
Mm-hmm.
Sam Burke and Maximilian Twitch Williams. Twitch is his nickname.
Uh-huh.
Are you familiar with Todd McFarlane?
Yes.
Are you familiar with a certain character that he created called Spawn?
Yes.
Okay. These are the two cops that always are investigating mysterious in the homeless deaths, or in the alley.
So they're the cops that have to deal with all the crap Spawn does.
Pretty much.
Right on.
To the point where they've actually formed kind of a friendship / what'd you say earlier? Frenemy?
Yeah, frenemies.
With Al Simmons. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. Sam Burke is kind of like the muscle of the duo. And when I say muscle, I mean he's just bigger than Twitch. Very overbearing, very loudmouth, very blunt, in-your-face New York cop type thing. Very loyal, and won't show it, very hard shell.
Yeah.
But the very small list of people that he actually cares about, he will die for you.
Yeah.
Right
on.
Especially when they're trapped in a precinct that has a lot of crooked cops, a lot of cops on the take, a lot of cops that just, he's the type of guy that would sit there and eat 24 donuts and complain of why he's so fat. Drink the coffee that he just used as an ashtray. Whereas Twitch is a marksman. Mm-hmm. He uses 2 pistols. He's a mathematician. He's Mensa genius.
Yeah, he's a nerd.
Forensics.
Right.
I mean, just to the point where he was married and had children, and he just delves himself into his work to the point where his wife left him, and he got no custody granted to him for the kids. Nothing.
Typical cop story.
Yeah. Well, the writer in this book, it's a spinoff of basically those Spawn characters. Mm-hmm. It's kind of a brutal whodunit.
Yeah.
And it really delves deep into the backgrounds of both characters.
Nice.
And yes, there are certain cameos from a certain character from hell that they ask for help. He asks for help from them.
Yeah.
Believe it or not. Because ironically, Al Simmons, a.k.a. Spawn, has found the 2 people since he's come back from hell that he can actually trust. And ironically, they're cops. Because if you know Al Simmons' backstory, for you Spawn fans, not a cop guy. But this comic right here, which I do have in the store, it was cranked out by Image Comics.
Yeah.
And it ran from October 2010 to January 2011. And it was written by Brian Michael Bendis. Does that name ring a bell?
No.
He did NYPD Blue, the show.
Oh, nice.
And he did The Wire.
Nice.
The show. So can you imagine that guy with Todd McFarlane?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a good read.
Right on.
It's a good read. So yeah.
Yeah, that sounds
Plus,
good. I might check
if
that
you
out.
remember the HBO animated series, which is way better than the live action movie.
Yeah.
You watched?
I've watched a couple of episodes.
Dude, Sam and Twitch were the best in that show. Go back. It's on HBO on demand right now.
Nice.
And HBO Go. They just put it up there. The whole Spawn animated series.
Yeah.
Definitely, if you get a chance, check it out.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
I think I'll real quick blow through my last comic I have to talk about today.
Do it.
With Suicide Squad right around the corner,
Yeah.
I decided I'd do a quick rundown of the Suicide Squad New 52 Volume 1, which is kind of what the movie's based off of. Starting out, it starts out with them being tortured.
Okay.
Tell us about Amanda Waller. Torture. Tell us about Amanda Waller. Torture. One of them breaks. Gets killed on the spot. The others who didn't break, guess what? It was Amanda Waller putting them through the trials.
Of course it was. Of course
What
it
a
was.
bitch.
Yep. That's her.
The team consists of Harley Quinn, of course. Deadshot, of course. Black Spider. I don't know if anyone's familiar with who he is.
Black Spider?
Yeah, he is like... there's been a couple of different ones. Like the original ones were bad guy thief types that like to steal high-value jewelry and stuff. The current one in the New 52 of this volume was actually sort of a good guy vigilante type. The problem is he went too far. He would beat people to death. And that's what threw him in Bell Rev.
Okay.
King Shark.
Oh, yeah. You know, King Shark was almost in the movie.
Yeah, that would have been cool, but I guess he's kind of being used already, and people are already familiar enough with him, so...
Badass.
El Diablo.
Yep.
And Voltiac. Some electric bad guy type. Don't really know him very much.
Yeah, not familiar.
So she tells them what's going on, what they're going to be doing and whatnot, and sends them out on their first mission, which is to retrieve a cure in this big it shows them there's a big football stadium. It's completely blocked off and locked and tight shut.
Mm-hmm.
And they helicarrier drop in or whatever, and there's a bunch of like people, dead bodies everywhere, people running, people being chased by these zombie type creatures.
Okay.
Except they're not normal zombies. They're cyborg zombies.
Cyborg zombies.
Yes.
Okay.
The virus that is in them turns like their organs and stuff into a mechanical cybernetic stuff apparently, and they can infect other people with it. So it's a virus of two different kinds.
Virus times 2. Okay.
Yeah, it's a human virus and a computer virus.
Gotcha. Okay.
And they need to retrieve the cure. So, stuff happens. They find the cure. They need to bring it back. Deadshot kind of has assumed the leadership role.
Mm-hmm.
Because he has the most experience. He's the most trained. He's just kind of meant to be a leader.
Badass.
Yeah. Things go a little south. They have to, find a new pickup spot. So they go into a town, and Him and Harley Quinn hook up.
Hook up, or
yeah, they do it.
That yeah, okay.
And they're trying to find a spot to get picked up. I lost my train of thought for a second there. They like a lot of other crap goes down. I don't want to linger on too much on it.
Mm-hmm.
They get picked up. Somehow Harley hears about Mr. J and how his face and skin have been apparently cut off.
Ah, okay.
So she decides that she's going to break out of Bell Rev, and she somehow causes a huge riot that, gets tons of prisoners killed and whatnot, and she breaks out. So they make a new team to go and retrieve her. And she has a bunch of, carnival people dressed up in Joker colors and stuff. Yada, yada, yada.
So got some mad love going on.
Yeah. And Deadshot's been, charged with making sure he can bring her in dead or alive.
Okay.
And this whole time they can't be caught by the police or Batman. Because if they do, that bomb in their head goes off.
Yep.
And so he finally finds her, and she, during this time they kind of reveal her new 52 origin, which, take it or leave it. When you've actually read it and aren't just hearing it secondhand,
mm-hmm.
it's just fine.
Yeah.
A lot of people are like, oh, the love that she had made him go crazy. She still goes crazy because she loves him so much. She still kills a lot of people to break him out because she fell in love with him.
Okay.
The only difference is now her skin is permanently white. That vat does not make you go crazy. You go crazy and then go into the vat and now you have white skin. That's all that vat of chemicals does, is it turns your skin white.
Okay.
All right.
Maybe I've been in the vat.
Pasty. So he finds her and she knocks, sucker punches him, knocks him out, and ties him to a chair and puts the face on his face. She has the Joker face, and she puts it on his face and then sits on his lap and kisses him.
Oh.
It was really weird.
I'm gonna cry. That's awesome.
Long story short, he gets her and they lock her back up. But I have two other volumes, so she's still on the team.
So what happened with Joker?
They didn't say.
Oh. Wasn't a face off?
Are they gonna take his face off? Like in Face Off? And that's all of the comics I have to talk about today. I just thought I'd cover that since the movie's right around the corner, and it's going to be during our break, so we won't be able to talk about it until we come back.
That's what we want to do. That's why we're taking a break. We want to go see Suicide Squad for a dozen times.
How many times are you going to watch that movie? Until I like it.
I did say that, didn't I?
Yeah, so what else do you got for me, Sean?
Oh, you know what I watched last night?
What? I know what you watched last night.
Sharknado 4. The Fourth Awakens. Oh, yeah. Huge fan.
I've never watched any of the Sharknados. It blows my mind that they've made 4.
Blasphemy.
I'm just not that big of the D movies.
All right, let me give you the... You're giving it too much credit. You said D movies.
Oh, I'm sorry. F. No, wait. Hold on. Let me do the alphabet again real quick. Hold on. Z.
Z. What's the letter after Z?
0.
Anyway, I personally love the Sharknado series. I know a lot of people do, obviously, since there's 4.
Yeah.
Quick synopsis. Okay, if you follow, for those of you who followed, there's 3 already under the belt. So, this 4th one, there's this big company that has set up different satellites and oh my god, different posts all over the world, where it is sort of they can control the weather at this point. So any sort of Sharknado that happens, they can dissolve or evaporate the water before it starts and just get it. Well, there's a new thing that starts. It's a big sandstorm in Vegas, where the company is not equipped to deal. They only dealt with water-based stuff. So it starts out and it moves right across the entire United States. This is after 5 years of no Sharknadoes. So now it's a sand Sharknado.
What?
Which evolves into a Boulder-nado. Boulder-nado. Because they move across and then they pick stuff up in the big... And it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And the sharks are in there. Just ever come across, the sharks eat. And they have rocks sticking out of them. So it's a Boulder-nado. To the point where there was a point when they got somewhat when they were moving east, they got somewhat into the square states like the Iowa, stuff like that. There was a chance it was dissipating, but they came across this huge ranch, and it turned into a cownado, which the sharks proceeded to feed on. Oh, it gets better. Hold on. Then after that, so it built back up. Yeah, you wish there was a little something in that drink, don't you? Came across like there was a power plant right there, so it turned into a electronado. The sharks were electrified, and they just now keep in mind it's going across the United States, and it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. After the electronado, it hit right around the outskirts of Texas. And it got the refinery, so it turned into an oil-nado.
Of course it did.
Which, between the electricity and the oil hit...
Oh my god, it's going to catch fire.
Fire-nado.
What the hell?
And then, for some odd reason, there was some fault lines right around there, so it turned into a lava-nado. And then at the end, once it got up, it started heading up towards back on the East Coast. Hit those plants there. Finally, a nuke-nado. They went glowing sharks, and it was all glowing. And basically what they had to do, Ian Ziering and company they had one of those pulse things. They had to turn it back, or they used one of the pulse and reversed it at Niagara Falls. To make the water, instead of run down, run up, and turn and cool the nuclear, and make it water again, so the pulses could evaporate it. That's pretty much the synopsis. I'm not going to give you the little details and the cameos. It's just stupid, silly fun.
I wonder what would happen if it had hit Portland. Hipster-nado.
Oh, Man bun nado.
I only jump in tornadoes if they're organic.
Organinado. So yeah,
are these sharks grass fed?
But the best part is I love the tagline for it. So the fourth one is called Sharknado: The Fourth Awakens.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to show you. Put that picture up right there.
Yeah. And
I want to put a side-by-side comparison of that. Yeah. Because trust me, you watch that movie, there are 80 gazillion tons of Star Wars quotes and references. And oh, yeah. Yeah. That's,
you know what the name showed up in?
Tons of puns? Yeah. So, yeah. Now,
you know, that's probably why it took them a little while to get the fourth one made. They were waiting for the Fourth Awakening. Pretty much,
yeah. But no, I mean, they always release them with Shark Week. Like I said,
that's crazy.
People get excited. Oh, it's Shark Week! You know, towards the end of the summer, Shark Week. Everybody gets excited. So do I, but for a different reason.
For all the Z-roll movies.
But also, into summer comes, then we're going to go to fall. And now with fall, you got some, that's the return of like some zombie TV, some superhero shows. But more importantly, we got some Strigoi.
Electrically.
For those uninitiated, that means vampire in The Strain.
The Strain.
Guillermo del Toro's comic adapted to the TV series. Season 3, baby, coming back.
Nice.
August 28th on FX. Yes. This time around, though, due to a faster pacing, there's only going to be 10 episodes. So I'm kind of a little, but I'm excited. I'm like, oh, there's only 10 episodes as opposed to what, 22, 23 episodes?
I've never really watched the show, but
a usual TV show
is about.
Yeah, I mean, that's what The Flash and all them do. Yeah. So, yeah, that'll be badass. I mean, I've been watching it since day one, read the books, everything. Definitely worth a watch.
I might check that out. I think that's on Hulu.
Yeah, the straight. August 28th. So if it is, you got a month to catch up. Speaking of vampires, I got a book for you, sir.
Yes.
30 Days a Night.
I've seen the movie.
You seen the movie?
Yeah.
Okay. That's pretty. The movie was great.
Yeah.
Pretty close adaptation to the book, if not almost spot on. It was a 3-issue series written by Steve Niles.
Yeah.
And Ben Templesmith drew it. Not familiar.
Yeah, me either. The name doesn't ring a bell.
And it ran from like August to October of 2002. Takes place in Barrow, Alaska, and it
30 days.
Such a place. It's so far north, that during the winter the sun doesn't even rise for a month or so.
Yeah.
Hence the name. Yeah. Vampires flock there to take advantage and openly kill the town's population and feed.
You know,
how badass is that?
I'm so curious how they can do this. Like, do they just do it once every, so many years, or do they do that every year? The vampires.
Well, apparently they tried. Apparently, it was kind of like a just so happen upon type thing, because to the point where when they take advantage and they openly kill, because there's no sun, so it doesn't weaken them. They don't have to sleep, and they're just running around town. There is a leader. His name is Vicente. He goes there.
Yeah.
It draws him there because he's in the old ways of the vampire, and he's trying to stop the killing and trying to stop that.
Yeah.
Because of the secrecy. He wants to maintain the secrecy in the old ways. You know, it's like...
Makes sense.
All these vampires are just running around. It's like, L.A. circa Rodney King verdict. 1991,
Yeah.
But because of the severe cold, all the vampire senses are weakened. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of townsfolk that can hide, and they won't detect them. And one of them is the sheriff of the town. His name is Eben Ullman. Mm-hmm. And he ends up saving the town. Remember how?
Yeah, at the cost of becoming a vampire himself.
He kills one of them and takes the blood and injects himself.
Yeah.
Thus getting, the powers and the strength and the abilities of it. To the point where all the other vampires... He notices that all the other vampires, once Vincent got there... he's like the alpha, and that he recognized that all the other vampires were going to follow his lead.
Yeah.
So he injects himself with the vampire blood and challenges Vincent to battle, for territory.
Yeah.
Ends up winning. Mm-hmm. But and all the other vampires go away. I mean, even his wife, what's her name? Shelley.
Yeah.
What's her name? Or Stella, I'm sorry. Her name was Stella. He saves her.
Yeah.
And the few remaining, children, whatever, whoever was left, hiding. Kills Vincent, and then takes over dominance. Yeah. And casts them all away, says never come back again. Mm-hmm. They have to listen. Well, in the end, he also has their weakness.
The sunlight. And
so once they sit there...
just like they did in the movie.
Him and Stella sit there... She's holding him once the sun comes up, and he just dies and turns to ash in her arms.
Yeah.
And that's
a heck of a way to end.
Right? I know, right?
It's a happy ending, but not really.
But not really. Yeah. Speaking of endings, you know what today is, sir?
endings today. What's today?
Today is August 1st?
Yes, it is. Wonder Woman's birthday, right? I think. Or is that last week?
How old does she turn? Oh,
75?
75.
Wow, she's old.
She's hot. Looks good for 75.
I just realized something, actually. My grandma's older than Wonder Woman.
Stop it. Stop it.
Oh, man. 75 years, that's a good run. I mean, there's a lot of characters that haven't lasted even close to that long.
Yeah. So, yeah, happy birthday, Wonder Woman.
Yes, happy birthday.
I also heard that, speaking of Wonder Woman, Linda Carter is going to be on season 2 of Supergirl when she comes to CW.
Linda Carter?
There was a Wonder Woman TV show. Wait, a little bit before your time.
Yeah.
I watched it.
Mm-hmm.
She still looks good.
Right on.
Definitely put a picture up.
Here you go.
Also, another 20-year anniversary, Amalgam Comics.
Yes, I'm somewhat familiar with Amalgam.
You are. Amalgam Comics, for those uninitiated, was the first DC Marvel crossover where they actually, and when I say crossover, I mean like not books. Well, yeah, books, but the actual company.
Yeah, they
collaborating and working together and doing something. And the first time they did that was 1975, and they did a Wizard of Oz. Whereas Marvel wanted to do something original, but stay true to the source material.
Yeah.
Whereas DC actually owned, through Warner Brothers, the Wizard of Oz rights. Mm-hmm. So they actually did something, and it hit. It did good.
Right
to
on.
The point where the following year, 76, they did the infamous Battle of the Century.
Where they made everyone fight everyone.
No. The very first crossover. Superman, SpiderMan.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that?
Remember
that? Yeah.
Well, I don't remember it, but I've heard about it.
All right, settle down.
You're old, Sean. I'm young.
Fair enough. Yes. Battle of the Century. 1976. Jesus, I bought that.
Yeah, I've heard about this. They beefed Spider-Man up and toned Superman down a little bit for the fight.
A little bit, yeah. It was, again, DC Marvel working together, collaboration.
I don't recall who won.
There's no winner. You know, there's never a winner. An actual clear-cut winner. There never is. Even when Marvel does solo stuff and DC does, there's never a clear winner.
Yeah.
You know? But this, when they were doing on board with Amalgam Comics, it did really well. So 75 all the way up till 83. Mm-hmm. Now 1983, not so good.
Yeah.
Because they planned on a Justice League of America versus Avengers. Mm-hmm. And nobody can come to a conclusion. So it never happened. And everything fell apart. Until 1994.
Yes.
94 under new management. So we got brand new, fresh faces, new blood coming in. Mm-hmm. It's like, hey, let's do this. You know what they did? Batman Punisher.
Nice.
How badass was that? I've had that at the store many a times.
Yeah.
That's such cool. I mean, two of my favorites right there. 96, they finally did it. DC versus Marvel. I'm sure that's the one where everybody's familiar.
That's the one
yes.
I'm thinking of.
That was that 4-issue series. But out of everything that I just mentioned, from 75 to 96, if you go back and look at the covers, there's no credits on them. Like, nobody gets writing or on the covers.
Yeah.
Nobody gets anything, because it's a collaboration. Just, boom, here you go. Like, nobody gives a shit.
And that way, the people that wrote them don't get death threats for their character they like losing.
Pretty much, right? They have, now, kind of like a little homage, since it's 20 years today that's been out. Mm-hmm. I have my top 5 favorite crossovers.
Alrighty. Should
we do number 5 to my top one?
Yeah.
Okay, let's start with number 5. Speed Demon.
I'm familiar with.
Are you familiar with Speed Demon?
Yeah, I don't know how that's not number one. That's so badass.
It's tough. This was tough.
That Speed Demon is like
Wally Blaze.
Wally Blaze, Ghost Rider, and the Flash.
Yes.
And
remember the villain?
I never read any of them, but they all. He's more than just Ghost Rider.
Yeah,
and Flash.
there was three.
That demon from DC.
Yeah. Jesus, what was his name?
The one that speaks in rhyme.
Yes.
Can't remember his name.
That was the one where they did 3 instead of just 2.
Yeah.
They melded 3 because even the villain, Arrowcaster. Harvey Oliver Osborn.
What?
So it was Two-Face, Green Arrow, and Green Goblin.
Interesting.
Yeah. That was the villain. Huh. So, yeah, Wally Blaze. Speed. Do you remember that? Vaguely. I do remember reading some. I just don't have enough to go into detail. Like, I could do number 4. No. Bruce Wayne, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Oh, yes. I'm a little bit familiar with that. He's a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent.
Remember the backstory?
Same as like original, except instead
kind of his parents, Thomas and Martha, were agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
And they got killed.
And he
got sent up to Canada. Oh no! I'm getting that confused. He got sent to live with his uncle.
Yeah.
And he got killed. And they were all agents.
Yeah.
And then he found the mysterious. He's starting to delve in. And sees all these gadgets and everything, and then he gets recruited, goes in, and like top agent, works his way up the ranks,
becomes head of the company.
Head of the company.
And from what I understand, this Bruce Wayne ain't nothing like the Bruce Wayne you had growing up.
No,
this Bruce Wayne used S.H.I.E.L.D. as his own private army for straight up murder.
Well, he's got to take on Selena Luthor.
Alrighty then.
Son of the Green Skull, which I will get to later, who is in charge of Hydra.
Yeah.
Crossover between, Lex Luthor and Catwoman. Yeah. So that's my number 4 there. Number 3, Amazon.
Amazon.
Are you familiar with that one? Her name is Princess Aurora.
Yeah.
Okay. She's an African child that her parents got killed, and she was abducted by Amazons. Well, not abducted, but taken in by Amazons and raised, become a princess, and trained in the ways of the Amazonians. Not to mention the fact she's a mutant. They cross over, and she has all the powers of both, and a lasso of lightning.
That's pretty cool.
It comes in handy when she has to face, there's a nice picture of her there.
Right on.
Amazon. She has to face her arch nemesis, Dr. Strange Fate.
That's her arch nemesis?
Dr. Strange and Dr. Fate.
Why are they making 2 good guys into a bad guy? I don't.
It's misunderstood during the Amazon thing, because actually I believe during the Amalgam Comics that it spun off, and Doctor Strange Fate ended up getting his own comic for a little bit.
Yeah,
I'm a little shady. It's been 20.
Yeah,
come on. So yeah, number 2, you're gonna love this one. I know you know this one. Dark Claw. Yeah.
Bruce Wayne and
Logan Wayne.
Yeah.
This is the one that I flubbed up earlier. He's the one. His parents get killed when he's 5 years old, and he's sent up to Canada to live with his uncle. He gets killed.
Joins the military.
Gets up on the Weapon X program.
Yep.
It gets terminated, and then he travels around the world or what have you. And
well, him and his best friend.
His best friend Creed Quinn.
Yeah. He was also in it.
Who is? Becomes
the Jackal.
Cross between Sabretooth
and the
Joker. Goes by the name Hyena.
I was thinking of another Amalgam
Yeah.
that they crossed over.
Yeah.
Yeah, the hyena.
Which I thought was awesome. That hands down, that was a tough one because I had to go number 1. That's number 2.
Yeah.
Number 1, I have to go Super Soldier.
Super Soldier? Oh, yeah, it's Superman and Captain America.
There he is.
I was thinking of that earlier. I was trying to think of the name of him, but I couldn't remember that.
Alien infant crash lands on Earth.
And that gets the super...
And the government takes him and they do all sorts of experiments on him. And they, withdraw the DNA and do, mishmash. So they have this super soldier serum. And the best recruit they have is a guy named Clark Kent.
Yeah. Of course.
And who is his villain? Do you remember?
No, I don't.
Luthor, the Green Skull.
Of course.
Which is, if we go back to the Bruce Wayne Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
The son of the Green Skull is...
daughter, Selena Luthor is in charge of Hydra, but her father, Luthor, the Green Skull, started it all.
Wow.
I thought it was pretty badass. It was tough for me, man, between Dark Claw and Super Soldier.
Yeah.
So, I thought I would go with that. So, yeah, those are my top things there. A little tribute there. Too bad they're gone.
Yeah.
That was always fun.
They didn't last long. And let's not forget, some of the other amalgams, like Spider-Boy.
Spider-Boy. Arrowcaster. Thanos side. Remember that one? Yeah. Oh, and yeah. There's little honorable mentions.
Yeah.
The Iron Lantern.
The Iron Lantern. I'm somewhat familiar.
JLX.
Yeah.
I never read any of those.
Yeah.
But yeah. Just come on. How badass is that?
I mean, the majority of these came out before I was even old enough to read.
Always with the jokes, sir. Always with the joke. Get them out. We're going on hiatus.
You're old.
You're old. All right.
Is that all we got for the?
Do we got
comic talk?
Comic talk. Got time for a little.
Yeah, we got a little
game.
Yeah, we have a little game to play for you guys today, and cue the music. All right. We're playing a little 1 True 3.
1 True 3. Now, what this game consists of is I'm going to tell 3 stories.
And I'm going to make fun of you.
Well, that goes without saying. And you have to pick out which one is the real story.
All right.
All right? Pretty simple.
Get into detective mode here.
Okay. That's right. You do that. Let's go with story number 1.
Mm-hmm.
I was at a Comic-Con. It's the first one. A second one... No, third one, I'm sorry. Third one I took my wife to.
Yeah.
First one I took my daughter and her new husband to.
Mm-hmm.
Going along, she's showing... And my son-in-law is really, really, really into comics. Especially with the show. I show him the movies. He's come down.
Mm-hmm.
You know him. You met him.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere, this is one of the many times I was telling you about the Neil Adams thing and George Perez and Alex Ross and Jim Lee and so on and so forth. We're walking around. Everybody's got to use the restroom. Coming back, okay, everybody's got to take a bathroom break. So we go along, and so we're all meeting up. Somebody gets done first. Mm-hmm. So we're all waiting. And we're all walking back. All right, let's go back in. What do you want to see next? I didn't even finish that sentence. And I'm pushed to the ground. Like, hit in the back.
Mm-hmm.
Like, punched. Or pushed, type of a forceful push. And I'm on the ground. Bottom line, I'm on the ground. And I hear this yelling behind me. I turn around, and basically I was accosted by Ben Grimm from the Fantastic Four. And, the guy was just pissed about something.
Yeah.
Dressed like Ben Grimm. Until I turned around, I'm like, what the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
Mistaken identity. But I was accosted by Ben Grimm at a Comic-Con.
You're lucky you got out with your life.
I know, right? Apparently it was clobbering time and I didn't know it.
You're like, I would have let this go if you had just said it was clobbering time, and I would have just went on my way.
That would have been awesome. All right. Story number 2. This was high school.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Senior, or did I already graduate? Shortly, right around that time when I was a graduate. Met this girl, super nice, super hot. Super hot girl. Yeah. Right? Still awkward. Don't know. Don't have the moves or anything, It's like not the stuff you see in movies. Could never do it. I'm
You're no Romeo.
No, I'm more Ducky and Pretty in Pink. But super hot. Hit it off. She did like me.
Mm-hmm.
To the point where it was right around my birthday, and I'm walking to school because I live closely to the school. Where I don't know when she did. Obviously, the night before, the day before, something like she put up signs saying "Happy Birthday, love you." As I'm walking, I'm reading these signs that are put on the trees all the way up to my school. A little weird, a little creepy.
Yeah, it's only been like 2 weeks, but all right.
So hot though, and just finally got up to ask her for prom.
Mm-hmm.
Did that, thought, got a room, started. It's like, guess we're dating type thing.
Yeah,
did that, and it lasted about not quite 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
To the point where finally we went back to my place.
Mm-hmm.
Not my place, but no one was home. Parents weren't home. Blah blah blah. Did the deed.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of laying there and everything. She gets up. She's like, "Oh, what's this?" She pulled out a book. It was Dark Knight Returns.
Yeah.
I'm like, "Oh, that's one of my favorites. You'd love it." I mean, if you think. She's like, "Ew, it's a comic." And my first reaction was, "Get the fuck out." And pretty much never spoke to her again. End of story. End of fucking story. I mean, tried to the point where there was this other guy that had a thing for her too, and just like there was little moments where him and I crossed because I before all that.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's just like, see her,
I hope you don't like comics, bro, because she doesn't.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, you know how I am with my Batman. Everybody knows how I am with my Batman, especially the holiest of grails, Dark Knight Returns. All right, last story.
All right.
Okay, quick synopsis. This is circa junior high, so 8th grade, 9th grade, somewhere around there. No, 9th grade would be freshman. So yeah, junior, freshman, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
We had this principle. This is back in the 80s, okay? This is when everybody was, I call it the satanic panic, where everything, music, certain TV shows, everything, it was the devil.
Yeah.
Like there were daycares that were apparently run by satanic cults. It was all over. Geraldo, Phil Donahue, Jerry Springer.
Yeah.
All those talk shows were just, no concrete evidence.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there was a vice principal that we had at the school, where me and this other guy would wear Iron Maiden t-shirts and Dio t-shirts and Slayer and stuff like that. It's like, oh, you can't wear those. You can't wear those. It's like you're going to be suspended if you wear those. But I know it was a totally different time back then.
Well, it's not too much different now.
So he'd constantly threaten, but never I'm wearing Slayer, haunting the chapel. Now, if you know that if you've seen that T-shirt or the cover of the album, it was basically the cover of the album. So it was a big devil with a sword and a pentagram with Slayer, blood dripping, and made of swords.
Hey, take that off or you'll get suspended.
No, he was serious. He was definitely, or any Iron Maiden album.
Yeah.
The cover. I'd have all the Iron Maiden T-shirts and everything. Huge Maiden fan. Huge, Metallica, Anthrax, stuff like that. The one day. He pulled. I'm in the lunch line. So yeah, I guess it was 8th grade. It was 8th grade because I'm in the lunch line, and he comes up and looks at and my friend. He's wearing a Dio Last in Line shirt, which is on the album cover, and it shows this devil, and he's like this. And he looks at our shirts and looks at this. And the shirt I was wearing, he goes, I want to see you, Mr. Lowry, in my office after lunch before you go to the next class.
Oh, man.
So I go in there and he's telling me, and he starts preaching to me in his office about the evils of what I'm into and what's going to lead to and everything. To the point where he's going to call my parents and flat out, he goes, I want you to take your shirt off, give it to me. And he gives me a PE shirt. The school PE shirts. He goes, okay, now finish out your classes and I will call your parents and tell them what's going on.
Alrighty.
So I didn't put the shirt on. I walked and I just went up to my next class without a shirt. And I walk in, he's like, oh, okay, Mr. Lowry, I know, my teacher's like, okay, I already know why you're late. Why don't you have a shirt on? And I told him, I'm like, Mr. I'm not going to say the name.
Yeah.
Took it. He's like, I'm sure he compensated you. I see it in your hand. Put it on. So I happened to grab a big fat Sharpie marker, and instead of that, because like they're in the side, in the front there, you have the little chest piece where you can write your name on there.
Yeah. I
chose to write something and put it on with the Sharpie. I wrote Dick Magnet. And I got 3 more classes to go. So I'm spitting, but yet I'm making fun of myself like I always do. So. And I walked around with a Dick Magnet on my shirt. So anybody who knew me would come up and be like, hey, what's going on? And I told them the story. I ended up getting suspended for like 3 days. Oh, and that girl, the one from the other store I told you about, she saw the shirt and she's like, oh my God. She goes, I figured as much. Like, so she took it, like, she didn't know what was going on and everything. This is after the thing I told you about with the Dark Knight. Mm-hmm. She's like, don't even talk to her anymore. Like, she's making a gay joke, apparently.
Yeah. I
figured as much. Which, in hindsight, I look back, I'm like, all right, that's pretty funny. Alrighty, so your quest, sir. We have Comic-Con Ben Grimm accosting. We have Hot Girl Dark Knight Returns, or we have Silver Surfer Mephisto t-shirt. Which one is the real story?
The Ben Grimm.
Is that your final answer?
Yes. Oh, God. That was loud.
Silver Surfer Mephisto. To the point where graduation party, the school paid, we all went to Disneyland.
Yeah.
And we me and my circle of friends, we all hung out.
Did you have to
If you ever been to Disneyland? No. Dick Magnet. With mouse ears. He used to watch us because we all had the very last period in school was PE. He'd get up on the roof with binoculars and watch. Mm-hmm. Watch us and monitor. Because we were, quote unquote, the evil demon kids. To the point where we were at Disneyland, he was on there's that double decker that goes around the river, the riverboat thing. He was doing a drive-by with the binoculars. I swear on my kids. He was doing a drive. He was up on top of the double decker, the white boat thing that goes right. And he's doing the drive-by with the binoculars. I'm like, holy crap, he brought the binoculars.
I'm gonna watch those kids sin for sure this time. Oh, wait, slow it down.
Can't get any slower. Any slower, we'd be going backwards.
I hope he was trying to watch you guys sin for preaching reasons. Oh my goodness.
So yeah.
I mean,
of all the shirts, I mean, granted, I that's why I swore, like the old, like you pointed out, I'm older, but I look at music today and I'm just like, okay, yeah, I give it a chance. But like I can name a dozen bands that I've heard that sound just like these guys. I'm not saying they're bad. I'm just saying, but I'm not going to say like, oh, that's evil, because I listen to Slayer. I listen to all them. They weren't really satanic.
Yeah.
It was just selling albums.
Yeah.
To the ignorant masses. But of all the things, like all the evil, quote unquote, evil devil bands that I wore and everything. He picks a Mephisto battling Silver Surfer. I mean, it's funny in hindsight, the fact that that's it. Silver Surfer number 3. That's what he picked. That's what he thought was most evil. Yeah. Different times back then, sir. Different times.
Wow.
And that's all I got. That's going to be our finale for me.
Yes, that's. I mean, I wasn't surprised. I believe that you probably would write Dick Magnet on there, on a T-shirt.
Oh, I refuse. You know, I mean, yes, I'm quite a bit older, but I refuse to grow up.
But I was like, there's no way that she blatantly. I figured as much. That was the only thing that.
No, that's for real. That's for real. Everything was for real except for the. I didn't really dump her. This chick was hot.
Yeah, someone left it here.
Yeah, I know I'm backtracking. Fuck Batman. You're hotter than Batman. Come on.
Alrighty, so that's all the time we got for today. I think that's about all the stuff we had to cover for our season finale. I'm sure you guys noticed we had a intro today, assuming I was able to edit it in properly, which I probably will because I have mad skills. And we had some game music too, hopefully. Hopefully I don't actually suck.
You'll be fine. I have faith. As a matter of fact, I do have faith in you for one more thing.
Yes.
Can you do me a favor?
Yes.
Can you sign your name?
Wow.
Just for me, real quick? I know the folks at home can't see.
I'm trying to do this as smoothly as possible because
that's fine.
I don't want to rattle the mic too much.
I just need that. Okay. I'm going to keep this too because I want you to sign your name since we're taking a hiatus and you got a lot of downtime. I don't want you to forget about me. So I'm going to forge your signature and put it on numerous mailing lists so you'll get a lot of magazines so you don't forget about me. Have a day.